G'day Carbonites, welcome back to Scorched Tips, videos where I attempt to guide you through this brutal landscape that is Scorched Earth. Yesterday I released a video on the insulation effects from the different materials, and I got some pretty good feedback from it, and a few people had some more questions about that subject, so that's what we're going to be going through today. So before we get into it, I think I made a mistake in yesterday's video with the metal structure. So I said there was a loss of 3,666 hypothermic insulation. But as you can see here, this is a 1x1 metal structure. Obviously our base is different because I got no armor on today. So the base is 416. But we've actually got a loss of 2,643. So I'll have to check that video and see if that makes more sense. I don't know, when I was watching the video yesterday, I realized that it didn't add up correctly, so I don't know where I got that figure from, but oh well, you get that sometimes, especially working full-time and then trying to do full-time YouTube. Alright, so for those of you that didn't see the yesterday's video, so the Adobe seems to be the best. So this is our base. I'm having a hard time of actually getting the house symbol to come up. There we go. It just dropped off again. There we go. 810. That was different than before. It said 753, didn't it? Anyway, the 810 gives us our 394 increase, which we got yesterday. So it seems right. Also, this is a really nice base location. In case you're wondering, that's where we are. So we're about 4920, and it's on this really flat stone bridge. There's only two entrances, one at that end and one at that end. And as you can see, we've got metal and obsidian and stuff up here. The only thing it's lacking is water, and the closest water supply is over just past those spiky mountain peaks there. So it's probably a late game sort of area to build in, but yeah, nice and flat and big, good resources. Anyway, let's get straight back into it. So one of the questions was, how does the greenhouse affect the insulation? And I've got a couple of different structures set up. So this one has the Adobe foundation. We've got this one here with the metal foundation, and this one's built on it's entirely greenhouse. So let's jump in this one first. I'm going to shut the door because it seems to help with the house symbol. Okay, so we got 641. So it did increase it, which is an increase of 225. So that's just using the that foundation. Actually, I shouldn't say that because obviously these are playing an effect on that as well. If we jump into the one with metal, drops to 135, which is a reduction of 281. Now this is what surprised me. Just let me fly. I'll have to ghost in here as well. This is the one that surprised me the most. I gotta crouch around so I can actually move. Now that's 607. Now this is entirely greenhouse, so it actually increases your hypothermic insulation as much as the thatch structure does. It's an increase of 191. And I mean, we're inside a glass box in the desert. Yet we have protection against hypothermia. So yeah, that's surprised me quite a bit. So obviously this structure here isn't only getting the benefit from the Adobe Foundation, it's actually getting a benefit from the greenhouse structure as well. So that's why it had an increase of 225. So this one was getting an increase as well. And obviously the metal foundation removed all of that basically. Alright, so the next thing we're going to go through is how does the space around you affect it. So I've got a 4x4 base here. I'm just going to enclose it. I'm going to go 4 high as well, so it's just basically a cube. I'm actually getting the installation effects. There it is. And it's not even finished yet. Alright, standing right in the middle. And it's exactly the same. So it's a loss of 2,643. Alright, what if we stand right over next to one of the walls? Like, obviously the walls are going to be the hottest, well, I guess the ceiling would be as well, but yeah, so it doesn't increase or anything. One thing I did want to do is maybe see if placing more structures would increase it. Oh god, that's terrible. You'll just have to forgive me for that. Yeah, so I wanted to see if placing more structures, like say if we put a tin can inside a tin can, how does that work? Exactly the same, so it doesn't matter how many structures you have. So that pretty much puts this test, makes this test useless anyway. Because what I was going to do is create this same volume, just in a different shape basically, so I was going to bring the walls in closer to us. But I don't think we need to, because it doesn't matter where anything is placed or how much you place inside. You're always getting the same reduction. It's a flat rate. Alright, so in that case, we're going to move on to another thing that was suggested. Okay, so someone else wanted to know if you could double up on the walls and the floors, especially. So in a lot of PvP situations, people are doing double foundations by using the lowering technique. Which is a really good strategy because it doubles up your protection. But can we double it up with different materials so we get the benefit from the Adobe for the insulation, but we also get the increased armor of the metal floor? So that's what we're going to be testing. Okay, so I realized I did that pretty quick. So for those of you that don't know, all you gotta do is place down a foundation, put a pillar right in the middle of it. When you place your next foundation, you can actually get a snap point from that pillar. And then from that point there, you can demolish the pillar. And yeah, place all your lower foundations first. And then go over the top of it using that second snap point. And then you would get rid of this one. Obviously you can't place that one because there's a foundation already there. So you have to remove that one. There it is. And there you go. So we got 30,000 HP floor basically. So what you can do is, yeah, build up your walls like you normally would. And then even if this top one gets destroyed, the walls will still stay connected. Obviously I screwed up because that one's actually snapped to that bottom one, but you get the idea. Because there's a very little variance between the two, the wall will still actually count this as foundation. So yeah, neat little trick there if you didn't know. Alright, so I'm going to go through and place all the lowered foundations. We're going to do another 4x4. Okay, so there we go. We've got the adobe sitting over the top of the metal. Alright, for completion's sake, let's do double walls as well. I'm not going to go as far as doing quadruple walls like I've seen people do. Just because I don't want to have the nightmare of 40 million snap points to play around with. So, yeah, if you want to find out how to do quadruple walls, it involves using fence foundations. And yeah, I would honestly just search a video for quadruple walls. I'm sure you'll find what you need. Alright, so I'm snapping all these walls to the outside foundation, so not the adobe one. I'm snapping them to the this metal foundation out here, and then what we'll do is we'll put the adobe walls on the inside here. So, like realistically, it's gonna be a triple wall. But what we've done is we've created this buffer zone, and also what you could do is place pillars in here as well. It would just it'd just make it that much harder to get something in. So I'm taking care in making sure that they all snap on the same foundation, so they all line up. Once you have that first layer done, everything else will snap fine. Obviously we got the double foundations to worry about on the ground floor, so that's why it takes just a little bit of patience to not fuck it like I just did. Now there is tricks to do multiple ceilings as well using the fence foundation. Honestly, I don't want to muck around with it because the snap points are all over the place and it'll just mess with my OCD so hardcore. I would suggest looking up a video to do it. If you look up the quadruple walls, it's basically essential to be using the quadruple walls to be able to do the multiple ceilings as well. So yeah, by all means do that. This is how I'm going to do it just for the video. So it does have a couple of layers of protection, but this is just a million times simpler. Because all the snap points are, like, it only has one snap point. It's always going to be there. Okay, and then, actually we should have a look at what our... Okay, so we are actually getting a benefit from that, it's got to be the amount of pieces that you have. Because I'm still getting decent, like I've only lost 100 and... Oh shit, never mind. Man, that's weird. Alright, so it's 303 there. $202. I wonder if that's what's in here. No, that's definitely not. Just for... Let's just try that. We'll go right up against the door. Still 303. I don't know where all these figures are coming from. Anyway, I'll finish the build. It's It's got to be based off how many structures you have. I mean, like how many pieces in each structure. Because it's the only way it could work, really. The metal never changes though. If it's pure metal, it doesn't matter how many you have. And actually that's most likely the same for this as well. I'm just gonna have to open that. It's most likely the same for the Adobe. Yeah, it's 810. That's the 394 increase. And obviously we've got a lot more pieces in this build. So now see there, it's changed again. Like, where the fuck is that coming from? So there's the full-blown heat. Is it getting something from the Adobe? It might be. It does look like it might be the door. As soon as you stand up to that door, it drops down to that 1721 or negative 1721. If you shut the door, it looks like you never get that. It's just all pure metal. So you get that 2227. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but this definitely works. Like this could be quite a good base. So you get 2 layers of protection with the metal. So there's 2 metal ceilings to get through, or there's 2 metal walls to get through, 2 foundations, 2 metal foundations. Pretty solid. Not obviously it's not the best, but pretty decent. And you can be in this structure without having to worry about dying at all. So this is essentially your base in here, and the outside is just your protection, I guess, from raiders. So anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it there. It's a shame I didn't really get a definitive answer on how it actually works. Hopefully someone a bit smarter than me can work it out and tell me how it works. It just, like, to me, it makes sense that each structure has like a insulation value, and the more you add to it, the more it changes. So, but it looks like it only plays effect when there's 2 different materials in the one structure. Because in this, anything that's pure metal always gets the negative 2227. It's only these mixed ones that where we've got the Adobe and the metal, where it changes. And honestly, we're only getting an extra 300 or something. Like it went to, oh no, it's 500, but still it's not enough to save your life anyway. You're still going to burn to death within minutes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I hope you found it interesting like I did. So as always, don't forget to lead your targets, and I'll see you next time.